Dearest gentle audience, welcome to At Midnight. Today, we are going to talk about Dr. ChatGPT, okay? So, it looks like all of the post-apocalyptic, futuristic AI taking over films have prophesied today, because we are now in an age where AI is not only being used for academic and professional use, but personal use too. Let's take the great big ChatGPT, right? The most popular one, the one that we all use for everything from recipes to medical advice. I can't help but notice that there is a rising trend in using ChatGPT as a therapist or friend or just someone to, I guess, release all of your emotions or find some sort of solace, or just find someone to kind of agree with you on whatever issues that you are feeling. Because you have people who would usually just Google an emotion or a situation, and like Reddit threads would come up, like the "Am I the a-hole?" Reddit thread. And that usually kind of gave people a sense of validation of, like, their feelings are correct, or they're correct to have handled a certain situation the way that they did. The thing is, with those Reddit threads, like "Am I the a-hole?", it does also give kind of unbiased opinions. Like, you'll have people who will also disagree with you and say, okay, yeah, you were the a-hole because you did this, this, and this. And then you have people who will agree with you saying, yeah, you're the a-hole because this, and this. With ChatGPT or with AI, something I've noticed is that it hardly ever disagrees with you. And if it does disagree with you, like if you say something that's blatantly wrong, then it's going to call out the unethicalness of whatever it is that you did wrong, but it will continue with that whole tangent, with that whole thing of like, oh no, you like, I understand why you did that. Like, it makes so much sense because you are the victim and you were wronged in this way. And and I don't say this to be like higher than mighty or whatever, to be self-righteous about the whole AI thing. I've also gone and asked AI just out of curiosity, like, hey, so I did this. Am I a horrible person? And then freaking ChatGPT goes, no, you're not a horrible person for cussing out your mom just because you're in the luteal phase of your period. No, you're not a horrible person. It's just hormones. It's just the fact that you didn't eat today. And it's very understandable. Thank you so much for sharing your feelings with me. And albeit sometimes, like, it's very comforting to kind of go to ChatGPT and just be like, I had a bad day. Can you, like, give me some quotes or some positivity or whatever? And then ChatGPT will be like, oh, sure, it's I'm so sorry that you've had a bad day. It takes so much courage to share that with someone and then go on and give me the quotes. So I feel like it has its positives and it has its negatives, because let's be honest, we are in this age of, I don't even want to say recession, it's just economically weird now. Like, it's just, you're either really, really rich and you can afford things, or you just can't afford stuff and you're living paycheck to paycheck and everything is like you're constantly just tight. So in the area of financial, how do I say this? In the area of things that you can buy but that aren't like necessities, therapy is one of them. And I know that it's something that people should consider a necessity, but let's be completely honest. Let's be completely honest. No one is going to say, okay, I'm not going to eat this month, and the lights will be off, but at least, I have therapy to get me by. Like, no one is on that level of like mental health activism, and like no one is saying, okay, don't eat this month so that you can go to your therapy session. So I understand that for some people it is a necessity, and I think that that's great if you can afford it. But for most people, if you can't get your, what's the word, like if you can't get the resources that help you survive, i.e. home, security, food, water, for the sake of therapy, then I really don't know. But that's an individual thing. But in my personal opinion, I don't believe that therapy is a necessity to life if you can't afford it. So yeah, so let me try and make my point now. Therapy, as amazing as it is, it's so expensive and it's not that realistic for most people. But we are living in an age where loneliness has truly taken over, and people are at the point where they're just bursting with feelings and emotions, and it's either they lash out and they act negatively towards other people, or they talk to an AI robot and at least get some form of validation. So I'm not of the mind that ChatGPT is like fully the enemy, or AI in general. I am of the mind that it should be regulated somehow, or the people who do want to go to ChatGPT for, say, a little therapy session, unpopular opinion, I think it's okay. But at the same time, you need to understand what ChatGPT is and what it isn't. I watched a video recently that articulates this so nicely. I've forgotten the name and the YouTuber, but I will link it down below. Beautiful girl. She's so smart. She literally put this entire concept into perspective in a much more organized way. I'm just giving my thoughts right now. But yeah, and I just think that it can be a really useful tool, but like any resource, any tool that's used for the purpose of escapism or the purpose of numbing some sort of pain or some sort of ache, i.e. food, alcohol, cigarettes, or whatever, for a lot of people it actually does work out. And we don't like to say that because it's just, I guess it's not the most ethically sound way to deal with your stress or your pain or whatever, because we automatically think of addictions. And here's the thing, it's basically some people are more susceptible to certain addictions than others. That's how you can have someone who is maybe addicted to food, certain foods, sugar, let's say sugar and chocolate, and yeah, because that is a real addiction nowadays. But that same person is not addicted to alcohol, or doesn't, if they drink, they don't really care for more than one glass or whatever. Same with people who can drink alcohol, who can have like a glass of wine every now and then and be okay, even if they're stressed out, versus someone who has to have like 3 bottles of wine every single evening. And if they don't, they will literally lash out and go crazy. So I'm not saying that ChatGPT isn't dangerous. What I am saying is, it's dangerous to certain people, probably. Some people will probably be more susceptible to having an addiction to ChatGPT than others, because, I don't know, some people, or maybe just can't blur the lines between I'm talking to a robot, I'm talking to something that was manufactured, I'm talking to something that doesn't really have a brain chemistry or emotional intelligence, or emotional like unbiasedness. I don't know. But basically, like, it's basically a robot, and it was manufactured by a human, and its responses are all coded. Its responses are all something that was crafted, that was just created something that's man-made. It's not from someone's brain, from someone's memories and feelings and, you know, just life experience, someone who's going to give you an unbiased, honest opinion. It's a robot that is tailored to giving you the most comforting kind of advice there is. And yeah, sure, you may feel like it's unbiased here and there if it says, oh, yeah, it is actually, not morally correct to punch someone in the face. But I understand why you did it, and you were very, very angry, and so on and so forth. Like that's the whole thing. Yeah, with just AI chatbots when it comes to personal issues. So I hope that made sense. But if I may summarize my thoughts on this, I don't think that it is the worst thing in the world to have AI chatbots, specifically for something like pep talks. You need a bit of a pep talk, if you need some validation for, I don't know, work, motivation, whatever. I think it's a great thing to go to. If you need ChatGPT to validate some of your ideas, work ideas, business ideas, that's also great. If you need it, honestly, for motivation purposes, I think it's a great idea. Because you know what? Therapy is expensive, and sometimes you just need to hear from something that you're doing great, sweetie. Keep going. Now, where we need to draw the line is using it as an actual therapist, using it as an actual replacement to therapy. Like I said, in this economy, therapy is very difficult to come by, and it's very difficult to afford. Along with all of your other necessities and expenses and so on and so forth. So, although I do understand the human need, desire to want to have that chatbot also be your therapist, or also be some sort of friend, or some sort of person of value in your life, I strongly advise against it for most of our generation, because it's just not healthy to rely on a man-made machine for emotional advice and emotional intimacy. It's very unhealthy, and yeah, I think if it's really that bad, if you're in a place where you don't have people to talk to, where you don't have friends and family around, then this is a good idea to go on some sort of online platform where you're talking to other humans. There are apps, and there are VPNs, and there are just ways where you can kind of filter out the bots and just talk to real people. And I'm not saying that also replaces therapy, but it's a step up from talking to a robot every single day, because we need human interaction. Otherwise, we'll go crazy and we'll do crazy things. So I understand it. I think ChatGPT is a great pep talker. But if you are going to use it, please understand that it cannot replace real therapy. It cannot replace a real human interaction. It cannot replace real emotional intimacy. And that is something that you need to be courageous enough to seek out. You'll find it if you seek it out, and if you are honest with yourself, and if you work on just being a good person, you will find that emotional intimacy. It doesn't always have to be in the form of romance or best friendships. It can be in the form of going to work at a charity and spending time with like orphans, or with disadvantaged people, and just having conversations with them and seeing life beyond your perspective. This is a whole conversation for another video, but another thing I've noticed about heavily depressed people, or heavily or people who struggle with their mental health, I am including myself in it. It's also a thing of, we are isolated and we are stuck in our own worldview at all times. Sometimes you just need to go out into the real world, maybe to an area that's more disadvantaged than you, and you'll see that like there's way more to life than you and what you are currently going through. It's not to invalidate your issues, it's just to say that there's so much more to the world than there's so much more to life than just my issues. Like, it's not always about me. It doesn't always have to be about me. And you'll find that even doing stuff like that can help you out of your mental health issues. But that's really truly a video for another day. So yeah, thank you guys for coming to hear my rant. I didn't have a script today. I kind of just went for it. Hopefully this makes sense. Yeah, I really hope everyone has a good day. And if you have any comments, make a comment down below. And yeah, please like and subscribe. Support me if you feel like it. And I will see you all next time. Till next time, God bless.